Man, so banker, and then you went to pastor, and then high ticket sales. Like, this is a journey, brother. Like, you, when I say you are an incredible salesman, you teach sales, you coach all this stuff. Tell us about that award behind you. I'm guessing a lot of people that are on our listeners are watching, our viewers, don't know what that award is.
Yeah, this is called the $1 Million Facebook Group Award. So this client that I was doing high ticket sales for, they were stuck at like $10,000 to $15,000 months, and they said, "Hey, bro, we could use a really amazing kingdompreneur, a man of faith, as well as a high ticket sales guy." And I was closing for some of the and the largest online entrepreneurs and coaches that you can think of. And it wasn't really a good deal for me because they were just starting and they were stuck at $10,000 to $15,000 months. I had an offer where a guy was making $500,000 cash collected a month, and he
Wow.
was willing to give me like up to 40% commission on cash collected, which is actually really foolish because it's not very profitable for him. But he was
Yeah.
headhunting me, and that would have been a cash cow right there. But we believe in God, who is calling us to communities and connect and collaborate. That's going to be our podcast that we can maybe leak out in the
Yes,
next
yes,
few minutes.
yes.
Yeah, that was a perfect segue. And so I joined them, and they were literally like just emotional, saying, "Bro, why would you join us?" And I said, "It's more about the connection, and I feel called into this community." And they were just like nearly in tears. Helped them grow and scale from 10, 15K a month to 150K a month, and then got them to $3 million in 24 months. And that's the Clients and Community Facebook Group Award that helps
Mhm.
you monetize your community. I'll show folks up for those who are not believers. It's the $1
Jay
million
Lee,
Facebook
million
Group Award.
dollars, man. That is that is incredible, Jay. Like you know, a lot of people talk the talk, but you actually walk the walk. You have the proof right there that what you do works. So as we go back into from banking to pastor to high ticket sales, like what was the catalyst for that transition?
Desperation and financial poverty.
I love it, man. That's why I have to ask,
Oh
right?
man, oh man! If I'm being completely honest, you're not gonna get the pretty, bow tied answer. Mine's raw, real, and rough. You know, growing up as a Korean Canadian immigrant in
Mhm.
Toronto, Canada, we were always kind of like the underdogs. My parents had to learn a new language, had no friends, had no money, had to work 2 to 3 jobs. Nothing was ever handed over on a silver platter. So when we got like 98% on our math test, which is a stereotype that Asians are good at math, that's not true. My parents would be like, "Where's the other 2%?" Right? It wasn't like great job. So
Yeah.
you always had to kind of earn your way because they had to earn their way, and life was tough.
Mhm.
Um, so what was the question again?
Just the catalyst in getting into that. But even
Okay.
even adding more into that, like you are known as the sales ninja. How did that come about?
Yeah, it wasn't definitely given to me. It was just people like these guys here who I was closing for. Like they're like, "Bro, you just did it." Like I helped them increase their ticket price by double,
Hmm.
and then was doing what we call PIFs in the high ticket sales industry. PIFs are PIFs, paid in fulls. So not only did I double their ticket price, which they couldn't close themselves, they were doing payment plans. I was doing it was 4,800, and I increased it to $9,600, and was
Wow.
doing paid in fulls. And they were like, "Hey, the sales ninja strikes again." I don't know if they thought I was Japanese or Chinese or Korean. All,
They
all the
use that
Caucasian,
play, yeah.
we all look the same, right? Just like the Asians think that Caucasian, there's an Asian in every Caucasian, right?
That is true, yeah. We talk about this. We can joke about this stuff, guys. It's okay.
So yeah, so they started calling me the sales ninja, and then it garnered a lot of attention because of the up to 81% close rates, 96.45% cash collected rates, and then people like Eli Wild, who is like an 8 9 figure sales coach,
Mhm.
had me on his podcast, and the rest is history.
That is incredible. And
His
me,
story.
yeah, his story's great. Yeah, me, I'm known as a profitable salesman. You're the sales ninja. Like, we've done a lot of sales together and building businesses and growing and helping businesses grow. So just that you did that shameless plug a little bit ago. You and I are going to start having our own show actually on the network and
Whoop,
teaching
whoop.
people how to build businesses, how to grow their
Oh
businesses,
yeah.
how to do all of that, and Kingdom Connections, right?
Yes, super, super excited about Kingdom Connections, where we can help you guys create a community, connect with that community, and collaborate with that community so that you can monetize a business, break generational poverty, and
Mhm.
fund passion projects that are near and dear to your heart and God's heart.
Yes, no, it's really cool. One thing when it comes to selling is, as me and you, we can we can go out on nerd talk in terms of selling and how different techniques work. You've kind of created your own selling technique, right?
Yes, it was really by accident. A lot of stuff that happened to me is either by accident or just through practicing my reps. And then people say, "How'd you do that?"
It's not accident. It's God, brother.
I know, right? You're right. And God's gift, we are not to hide them under a bushel or under a lampstand, but let His light shine. Yes. And 2.5 years ago, I prayed a dangerous prayer, which was, God, would you elevate my platform so that I can speak in front of people to make your name renowned? And literally today is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. So the reverse glass selling method is an acronym, and it's 5. It's GLASS. It's pretty simple. Give first, listen well, ask open-ended piercing questions, sincerely handle objections up front, and serve with humility, which is basically taken from the 1 Peter 3:15 framework, which is always be prepared to give an answer for the reason for the hope that you have, but do so with 2 things: gentleness.
Well, you think about this, a lot of people, they when they think of sales, they think of that used car sales and that snake oil salesman, anything like that. But what you're talking about in Glasser, you've actually used some of those ministry influences that you've had into your selling principles. I love it, man.
I think everything that we do is ministry, right? Some people, I used to be in pastoring and preaching and evangelism for 10 years, and people would typically say, hey, leave my business or my money out of it because that's my personal life. And, when I serve and I come to church, that's my church life. I don't believe that. That's kind of like foolish, because everything is integrated into life as a whole, marketplace and ministry, right? And so we're called to be a light in every area and arena that we're in.
Oh, I love it, man. So we were talking, me and Rob, before you jumped on there, about sports. I know you're a big sports guy. Golf, you got kids, like, talk to me about that. We're going to break this up a little before we get back into more sales.
Okay, so I don't watch a lot of sports. So if you ask me trivia and stuff like that, like you guys are just nerding out, I wouldn't know. I actually play them and coach them. That's what I do. So if you ask me questions on stats, I'm going to be falling short of the glory of Rob and Jason. So I coach soccer and volleyball teams for all of my children, which is 3 kids. And I coach them in their personal outside of school life. And I also coach all of their teams inside their school. So it's a lot of coaching. So I was only able to work, I got to work half-time because being an entrepreneur helped me create a life of freedom, of finance and faith that I could not ever imagine. And then give half of my time to invest and sow seeds into the kingdom for my kids and their friends.
And you're playing golf every week? At least you try to, right?
Every week. Yes, I'm going every week. And then next week's my birthday, so I'm going to be going 3 times next week.
I love it.
So what's your handicap, Jay? Jay, I got to jump in.
Me. I am the handicap.
I tell people that playing golf is my handicap.
Right. It's everything between the 2 ears. Sometimes I am embarrassed to say that I'm a Christian, because when I hit a shot that's bad, and I'm like, I practice this like 100 times and I get it wrong, and I'm just like, Lord have mercy on me. And there's words that want to come out, and I say fruitfulness, fatherly love, right?
I tell people that I play military golf. I'm usually in the woods hiding.
And you go left, right, left, right, left. Right.
I actually have a camo polo that I wear because I use that joke. Like if I'm doing an event where I'm there as part of a group of people, and I'll say, listen, I wear the camo so that I feel at home in the woods where I usually am.
Hey, we should, if you do the God and Golf Mastermind.
I love it.
Let's do it, man. It's awesome. So anyway, I will pop back off.
No, you're fine.
No, that was
so
awesome.
Hey Jay, some of these close rates, when look at a lot of our audience doesn't necessarily know about closing, selling, all this stuff. Your close rates are incredible. Like, you don't hear these close rates for most people. Like, what would you say is like the key difference between you and traditional sales tactics?
Wow, that's a great question.
Because you are far above industry norms on close rates, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know what I didn't know because I was keeping my head down and just trying to get better every single day, which is, my posture every single day. You're a sales master. I come and I humbly, just put my pride and my ego out the door anywhere I go and say, God, I'm here to learn from Jason. I'm here to learn from Rob. I'm here to learn from everyone. I think that posture and that position has helped me have a vantage point of learning, growing, getting better to the point where I'm going to continue to grow. And it has left, some of the people that I've, looked up to behind. And they're now asking me to come on their podcast to share the secrets because they're trying to learn the secret sauce. And I think for me, when I was asked by one of the top sales coaches, and I actually went and listened to one of the other coaches, I won't name names here, but I went on one of the sales role play challenges that they were running. And I can tell you right now that everything or almost everything that they were teaching, the approach, the kind of like the way that they were selling was almost exactly opposite of what I teach and my approach and how I'm aligned with, God's values, the biblical frameworks. That used car salesperson that you say is pushy, that's aggressive, that's like, yes or no, which is that, close-ended questions. I'm exact opposite. It's gentleness, it's respect, it's open-ended questions. Hey, we might not be a good fit. We're definitely not the most affordable, but we might be the one that's going to be the most effective for you. But let's, ask some more questions to see if we're a good fit. If we are not, I'd love to refer you to someone like Jason or Rob that can help you in the area of PR, in the area of, retail sales.
Awesome,
so let's go. So I think that
kind of, I know a little more about your story than most. Your story does have some challenging moments, like a lot of ours. A lot of our audience may be in those challenging moments now, but they're seeing the success, right? With what you've had. Some of those challenging moments. Talk about some of those. Be a little bit open with that. I know you're very open with that, but like struggling to provide for your family and stuff, right? When you're working as a missionary.
Yeah. As a missionary, I had to do what was called MPD, or I got to change my language here. I see that old language is I had to because it was difficult. And then I got to it's a privilege. So I got to do what's called MPD, which is Ministry Partnership Development. It's a fancy word for saying fundraising. Steve Shadrach, in his book, The God Ask, he talks about, it's not about begging people for money. It's a great book. And it's not about begging people for money, which is what I thought missionary work was. It's about getting people to partner, and a privilege to have them enter into a team and a relationship with God and you to get on a mission that they may not be able to reach. And so that kind of vantage point was huge. But it was still a struggle because, when you're down to your last, dollar, or trying to make ends meet, or have to return groceries at the grocery store, or your credit card or your debit card goes NSF, insufficient funds, time and time again, I felt like I was playing Russian roulette, where I was like, my kids are in the grocery cart, 3 of them in tow with all these groceries. And I'm hoping to God, I'm throwing a prayer to God that says, I hope we have enough funds this time to make it work. And there were times where there weren't. And then there's a long line. And it's that walk of shame of like putting stuff back, and my kids asking, why are we putting that back? It wasn't always like that, but there were, 4 seasons out of the 10 years of ministry, for 9 months, I wasn't paid, or I didn't have any income. So it was really tough. That poverty mindset, the scarcity mindset, imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs, low self-worth. And then on top of that, you had people in ministry, family and friends that said, hey, you can't be greedy. You can't own this car. You can't have this kind of house. You can't own a bank account. You shouldn't own this kind of furniture. I was just like, I was so confused. It was very hurtful.
No, brother, your story and your heart, it's incredible, man. Like, knowing the story, the stuff that you've been through, a lot of things that I've been through. It definitely was what drives us. It really gives us that gratefulness to God and what He gives us, right? Your mission, I know we talk about money, sales, we talk about the cash collected, the sale, all of these type things, which are huge things, the award. But I know your heart and your mission goes beyond just making money. You're focused on breaking generational poverty and advancing God's kingdom. Like, how do you see your work, in sales contributing to these larger goals, and what impact do you see that like making in the world?
Getting me all worked up and excited, brother. So even though I'm officially not, pastoring, we are always ministers of the gospel, right? And even though I'm quote unquote not a missionary, I'm always on mission. You are always on mission. You who are listening are always on mission And that's that overflow of worship and mission. Here I'm a
Yes,
worship
you
leader
are.
as
Yeah,
well.
we've heard
This
some music too.
keyboard,
Yeah.
I'm a worship pastor. Yeah. So we should do a
Hey,
worship
here's
live.
what I was thinking. I think for your show, I think you guys need to have Jay every once in a while just play a little. Just
Well, yes, I'll jump on
I
and
could.
sing, but we're gonna have to do an audio dub. Okay, all right, all right.
I stood next to Jason in Nebraska, and I thought I was a bad singer until I met Jason,
Yeah,
and
right.
then I realized that God makes a joyful noise for all of us.
Oh, it's amazing that God loves the
Yes.
heart, right? Not the talent.
Oh, see, yeah, right. Love Rob's
I
jumping
love
in
the
comments,
puppets.
man. But yeah, about changing the world, man. How are you seeing sales do
beautiful.
that?
Yeah, I had so many opportunities to help people. I'll give you one example because I think storytelling is story selling, and selling is not some, it's. I think a lot of people look at selling and sales as this really evil, bad, greedy word, and I look at sales as one of the most powerful, tools that God has gifted us because it's basically being able to communicate and help people make a decision that they're already wanting to make. People hate being sold, but they love to buy. So if we can make that buyer journey easier and make it frictionless, that's going to really help. So this one lady who was getting divorced, she was going bankrupt on a retail brick and mortar store that she had. So she was losing money and inventory and her children. So her mindset was in the gutter. Long story short, there's actually two ladies in the same similar situation that I helped. One of them within 6 months with my training program, my sales coaching, which I said no 4 times. It was like the persistent widow. She said, I beg you. And I said, listen, your mindset is in such a poor state. Even if you joined, you probably will not do well and you won't get your investment back. And so I don't want to take the shirt off your back. So she begged not once, twice, 3, but 4 times. And I said, okay, listen, you can come in and you can, invest in yourself and pay me, but I don't know if I can help you much. So don't expect much of anything. And then within 6 months, she made $100,000 from scratch with no high ticket sales offer that she had sold or made off before. And the other lady who was in a very similar situation, she didn't make $100,000 in 6 months. She made $100,000 in 1
crazy.
month after 12 months.
So Jay, I know as we finish up here, who needs to come out and check out Go Sales Ninja?
Oh man, so my offers have been evolving. So I would say right now my newest pivot and offer is people who have who are online entrepreneurs, high ticket coaches, and or SaaS founders, software as a service, who have inactive leads, dead communities, or email lists that are just collecting dust, and they want to reactivate those.
Awesome.
This is a new offer that I don't think you.
I didn't, man, because we got to talk.
I got pretty good at doing cold outbound prospecting, and took tens of thousands of leads, booked 2 to 4 calls per day, and closed about $100,000 to $150,000 a month in additional revenue, and help you to close those sales because as a sales ninja, I can help you close more sales and collect more cash. So it's basically end to end. If you want to grow and scale,
that's the people we're looking for. Well, Jay, man, it has been great having you on the show, and I can't wait to get our show going.
I'm so excited about this. It's going to be on Abundant Network, and if you've seen Jay's energy today, dude, is terrific, and we're excited. And you guys,
this was without caffeine, Rob. He just is like this all the time.
I do it with caffeine. Lots of caffeine.
Me too.
Lots of caffeine.
You guys have liquid faith.
Jay, thanks so much for being with us. We're going to hear more about the show, of course, coming up as we develop it here, Abundant TV. But I'm super excited for Jason and Jay. I think it's going to be a great show, and we're looking forward to it.
Yep. We're definitely excited about it. We've talked about Kingdom Connections, thought about the J&J show. That was just wrong. That didn't work. So we're going to kick with Kingdom Connections. But Rob,